So we left off finishing Disney, we made it to Tokyo, and now we're checked into a hotel in Shibuya, the Tokyo stay. Small room, we can't fit our luggage in it.
Budget hotel.
We make our way to Shinjuku.
A little bit north from where we were.
We go to the Shinjuku National Garden.
Yes, we did.
What do we see there?
We see some construction. A lot of
That's
really
what you're
nice...
gonna start with? There's like three guys doing construction in this giant garden, and Angie's gonna start with we see some construction.
We see...
Oh my god.
Alright, redo. We see a lot of beautiful ponds, traditional Japanese garden. There were a couple of tea houses in there. Of course, we went for the soft cream. Because it was 1,000,000 degrees.
Very hot. Again.
Yeah. Consistent.
That's a theme that you'll see.
It is. So had some little ice cream walking around the park, melting as the ice cream was melting. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful park. Just very hot.
Very hot.
After that, we popped into just a couple of shops.
Around the streets?
Yeah. We ironically found an Eloise record in one of the small shops that we bumped into, which was cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Eloise is a concert we went to. It's an artist I introduced Ange to 3 years ago. Then we went to a concert, and in Tokyo, Japan, we see her record in the store. And she's not a big artist. Yeah, she's a pretty small artist.
Yep, and from the gardens, we kind of just wandered back towards the metro area and had our first ramen of the trip.
Yeah, so we had a ramen lunch. Yeah. Ramen number 1. And
pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a solid start. Not the best, but also not the worst we had.
Right.
Then we went to a smaller neighborhood right next to our stay, right next to Shibuya, called Daikanyama, which is just like a small, hip neighborhood.
Super cute, yeah. More boutiques instead of mainstream.
Yeah. Some wine bars.
Yeah. Daikanyama, we went to an izakaya, and we had some really good crispy chicken, a rice dish with some chicken, and some grilled eggplant, and some cocktails.
We had that in Ebisu, which is we walked through Daikanyama, and then we went to Ebisu, which is a larger, more popular area, and had it there.
Yep. Pretty good.
So after dinner, we wandered back to our hotel, going through the winding streets of Daikanyama, and we found a little wine bar. We were looking for a cocktail bar because Ange likes cocktails.
We were. And we were pretty sure we found the place where the cocktail bar was supposed to be. Climbed up 4 flights of stairs. But the door looked like it was a door to someone's house, and we could hear conversation. Not like party conversation, but like regular conversation on the other side. So we just decided not to go in.
Right.
Tracked a little bit, found a really cool wine bar instead, where the bartender spoke some English. Had a nice, good long, probably hour-and-a-half conversation with him.
Yeah, cool guy. He sat us, and it was just us for the entire time. No one else came in, just me, Ange, and this guy. And we drank wine, and he...
talked about Michael Jackson, seeing him 4 times when he came to Japan. Incredible.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go back eventually.
You never know.
You never know. And that was the end of day 1 in Tokyo. Next, we're on to day 2 in Tokyo.
Yes.
We went to a neighborhood that Ange had scouted prior called Jimbocho.
Jimbocho. Famous for having lots of bookstores, book cafes, book hotels, anything book related is in this neighborhood.
And so we saw a lot of books.
Most
of them didn't know what they were.
Most very, very old. Super small shops that you can barely walk in and you have to back out of. We saw some publishers while we were over there too.
Yeah, we saw the Shueisha Publishing Company, which is a huge anime or huge manga publishing company.
Had our first Deuter sandwich.
Oh yeah. We went to Deuter? I don't know how to pronounce for lunch.
They've been calling it Deuter.
She's been calling it Deuter. They make sandwiches, but they're premium coffee is what they're called. But they're just a sandwich shop. And,
Mediocre sandwich. It was a fine sandwich.
It was fine. Yeah, it was pretty good. And that was Jimbocho, right?
Yeah. That was
Anything else?
Jimbocho. Oh,
And so yeah, Jimbocho, cool. And really enjoyed all the books.
I did.
And then in the evening, we had heard about a hip neighborhood that's kind of, I don't want to say off the beaten path, but like outside of the main parts of Tokyo. So it's not quite as big city as the rest of the neighborhoods that we had explored. It's called Shimokitazawa, or Shimokita for short.
Yeah, they dropped the Zawa.
They dropped. It's pretty hip,
Yeah.
so they dropped the Zawa. Just Shimokitazawa. We get there, and it's pretty quiet.
Family friendly.
Very family oriented. Like a lot of like people walking their children around on this like really nice bike path.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And we're a little confused at this point because it's not the neighborhood we had read about at all. It's just like, a bike path.
Yeah, a nice residential area.
And so we're walking, and there's like a few cute restaurants, a few cute coffee shops, and it's cool. It's definitely nice. And then we see this big thing.
Inflatable rainbow that changes colors and is iridescent.
That's exactly what it is. We see that, and we're like, huh, okay. We'll take
Let's
a picture
walk
of
over
that.
to it.
Turns out it's a moon festival, moon-themed festival is happening in Shimokitazawa while we're there. So they have some displays, and we go to see them. And as we go to see these displays, we quickly find out we were not in the part of the neighborhood we read about.
We didn't start out in that part of the neighborhood.
Right. We wandered into that part of the neighborhood, and it quickly became very hip, and there was a giant inflatable bunny, and then a giant inflatable moon.
The moon was full moon.
Full moon. Yeah. And people were hanging out around it and drinking beer. So that's what we did.
And it was nestled in between a bunch of different small streets with like thrift shops, used clothing stores, lots of, small restaurants and bars. But it was like definitely a thrift vibe, like a cool vibe. Mm-hmm. Sticker shops, just really kind of cool, neat stuff.
Right. And Ange, before we had left for Japan, she said she wanted to try a food called tonkatsu. And I got a text from my sister-in-law, Deanna, shout out to Deanna, that she wanted to see, or my nephew wanted to see a picture of some tonkatsu as well. And so I was like, oh, why don't we just do this tonight?
Yeah.
So we searched for a tonkatsu restaurant. We walked into the wrong restaurant. When I asked for tonkatsu, the guy was like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
And the waiter literally walked us out of the side of the restaurant. He literally opened the door, walked outside, pointed to the right restaurant, and then peaced out. And so we went to this super, super nice
tonkatsu restaurant. Yeah. It was like a family restaurant nestled behind some of these like thrift shop stores and stuff where all of these younger kids were hanging out.
Yeah, it was definitely, the whole area was pretty hip.
Yeah.
But there was also it was like a hip center and then very residential, familial area around. So very cool. Shimokitazawa definitely would suggest. Probably like of all the neighborhoods that I visited, maybe the one I would choose to live in.
Yeah, pretty top
pretty
tier.
Cool. Yeah, Shimokitazawa. Then we went back to Shibuya, right?
We did.
Did you do anything else? Wandered around?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, then we went back to Shibuya, hit the hay.
Because the next morning, had to catch the train to our next destination.
And that is the next video.
That's right.
See ya, family. See ya, friends. Goodbye.